Record money into the bank manually in Sage Accounting. Manually enter your incoming bank transactions into Sage Accounting with ease. In this video, we'll show you how to enter these transactions correctly. There are several types of incoming money transaction types. They are customer receipts, other receipts, and supplier refunds. Bank transfers and bank deposits are covered in a separate video. A customer receipt is a payment against a sales invoice. This could also be a deposit received as a payment on account. Other receipts are money received, where you don't have a corresponding invoice. For example, an over-the-counter or one-off sale. You may receive a refund from a supplier. Supplier refunds should be allocated to a credit note or a payment on account. Entering these transactions correctly is important, as they could directly impact your VAT returns and bank reconciliations. To get started, navigate to banking. We'll start with customer receipts. There are several ways to create a customer receipt, and we will cover each of these. To start, use the New drop-down and click Sale Receipt. There are 3 tabs at the top. Choose Customer Receipt. All mandatory information is marked with an asterisk. Complete this information, starting with the customer record. Once you've selected the relevant customer, transactions with an outstanding balance for that customer appear here. Next, select the bank account the money was paid into. Then, the payment method. Using the calendar, select the date you received the money. This should match your bank statement. A reference can be entered here, if applicable. Input the amount you received here. To allocate this payment to the relevant transactions, select the checkbox next to the transaction. You can allocate this to more than one if required, for example, if your customer paid several invoices at once. Any discounts can be entered here. If a part payment has been made, click the pencil icon in the Paid column. Amend the value in the Amount to Pay box. This is the amount the customer has paid against the selected invoice. If applicable, enter a discount here. The new outstanding invoice amount is confirmed. Check all information has been entered correctly, then click Apply. The Paid column now correctly reflects the part payment. When you're allocating customer receipts to invoices, the Left to Allocate box should be 0. If not, it could mean the customer has overpaid or the allocation is incorrect. Check this before saving. If the customer has overpaid, the overpayment in this box can be saved as a payment on account. Once it is saved as a payment on account, it can be matched to an invoice later or refunded using a credit note. Please note, if you have a cash-based VAT scheme, you also need to choose the correct VAT rate. This box will only appear for VAT cash accounting schemes. This is because the VAT is calculated when you receive the payment and not when the invoice is produced. To attach a digital copy of any supporting documents, click here. Click Upload Files and browse to the relevant document. There are 2 options when saving your receipt. To save the customer receipt and immediately enter another, use this drop-down and click Add Another. This one is saved, and the form is cleared so you can enter a new customer receipt. Alternatively, to save this entry and return to the banking area, click Save. If there's an amount left in the Left to Allocate box, you will receive this message. To go back and review this, click No. To save this as a payment on account and save the customer receipt, click Yes. Another way to enter customer receipts is the Sales Invoices list. To do this, navigate to your sales invoices using the Sales drop-down. Find the relevant invoice and click on it. Then, to record the payment, click here. Follow the on-screen steps and save your payment. This will automatically mark the invoice as paid or part paid, and the customer receipt will show in your bank and customer activity. To pay multiple invoices at once, from the Sales Invoices list, select the relevant invoices using the checkbox on the left. Then, from the options at the top, choose More. Click Pay or Allocate. You'll be automatically redirected to the customer receipt entry form. Complete the details and save the customer receipt. If you've received a deposit from a customer, which will be allocated to an invoice later, you can add this as a payment to the customer account. To do this, follow the same process as entering a customer receipt. Enter all mandatory information here. Please note, if you have a cash-based VAT scheme, you'll be prompted to select the VAT rate when saving the transaction. This time, don't allocate the receipt to any transactions. The left to allocate box will show the full amount of the receipt. Click Save. A message appears to warn you that the full amount of the receipt hasn't been allocated, and this will be saved as a payment on account. To continue, click Yes. You must remember to manually allocate this to the relevant invoice at a later date within the customer record. If you have a receipt that will not be allocated to an invoice now or in the future, enter this as an other receipt. For example, an over-the-counter sale. Start in the Banking tab. Use the new drop-down and click Sale Receipt. From the options at the top, click Other Receipt. Complete the relevant information here. Other receipts do not need to be recorded against a customer. However, if you have a regular customer that you have sold something to, but didn't require an invoice, you can select them from the drop-down. For reporting and compliance purposes, you can split the receipt between multiple ledger accounts and VAT rates. The default ledger account will appear automatically. If you'd like to change this, use the drop-down. If required, enter details of the sale here. This could be the item sold or a general description such as over-the-counter sale. The VAT rate will be automatically entered based on the default setting of the ledger account. Please note, if you're not VAT registered, the VAT rate box will not appear, and therefore the value will not be split. The receipt amount entered in the amount received box at the top is automatically split between net and VAT. The total is also automatically entered. If you'd like to split the transaction between multiple ledger accounts and VAT rates, use the next available line. In this example, the full value of the receipt is £100. £20 of this is zero rated for VAT and should be allocated to a different ledger account for reporting purposes. By entering the ledger account and the £20 net amount of the second item line, £20 has been added to the total amount of the receipt. The left to record box should always be 0. In our example, item line 1 is not showing the correct values. The total amount including VAT for this item line should be £80. By amending the total to the correct amount, the VAT and net amounts have been calculated automatically by Sage Accounting. The total net, total VAT and total boxes now show the correct values. The left to record is 0. To save the other receipt and record the money into the relevant bank account, click Save, or if you have more receipts like this one to add, from the drop-down, click Add Another. From time to time, you may receive a refund from a supplier. For example, you have returned faulty goods. Start in the Banking tab. Use the new drop-down and click Sale Receipt. From the options at the top, choose Supplier Refund. Complete mandatory information, starting with the supplier. All transactions with an outstanding balance appear here. Next, choose the bank account the money was paid into. Then, the payment method. Enter the date you received the money. This should match your bank statement as it could impact both your VAT return and bank reconciliation. Enter a reference here, if applicable. Enter the amount you received into the bank here. Select the checkbox next to the credit note or payment on account you'd like to allocate this receipt to. You can allocate this to more than one item if required. Once allocated, the left to allocate box should be 0. Attach any supporting documents here. Click Upload Files and browse to the relevant document. Once you're happy with the information entered, you can save the supplier refund. If you have another supplier refund to add, use this drop-down and click Add Another. Or to save this refund and return to the Banking tab, click Save. If you use the VAT cash accounting scheme, the refund shows on your next VAT return and the VAT rate is taken from the original transaction the refund is allocated to. You can view all money and transactions in the bank account activity. To do this, from Banking, Click on the bank account and then scroll down to the Activity section. Automate your processes, save valuable time, reduce manual processing, and avoid human error with bank feeds. Bank transactions are automatically imported into Sage Accounting, meaning less manual processing. Please visit Sage University to watch our videos on setting up and processing using bank feeds. For further information, access our Help Center by clicking Help at the top of Sage Accounting. You've now learned about each type of money in transaction and how to enter them correctly.